When you're retrieving images for either print or web publication, sites like unsplash.com provide some great resources that are copyright free, so that you can use them in personal or commercial projects. When you're downloading images for the web, it's really not a big concern because the dimensions of the image, especially when you're searching for high resolution images, are going to be perfectly fine. For print publication, even though they are high resolution images, there is a difference between pixel dimension and image resolution. And that's what I wanted to talk about. So when you find images that you want to use, you just simply click on it and you can download it. I have this image right here loaded in Photoshop, and I want to show you what we're talking about when we talk about resolution. So we open up the image in Photoshop, we go to image, we go to image size, and we can see that when we downloaded it, the resolution setting is set to 72 ppi. Even though the image dimension is over 3,000 by over 2,000 pixels. That would look great. It's a very large image, very nice and crisp, sharp for web purposes. But even though the dimension of the image is very large, the resolution of the image is still set to 72 ppi. Now, notice that the print settings, and consider these three boxes right here, the print settings, and the image dimension is this up here. So the file size is relatively large, 20 megs. The dimension is great, like I said, for web publication, but these settings down here pertain to how the image is going to look on a printed piece of paper. Even though it's going to print 45 inches by 30 inches, if you were to just print this at 100%, the resolution is still going to be set to 72 ppi, which translates to 72 dots per inch, and you're going to see some spacing in between the dots of the image. You're going to be able to see that, so it's going to look a little pixelated on the piece of paper. The settings for print publication, you want to make sure that the resolution is set to 300. So if you uncheck Resample, make sure that that's unchecked, and I'll explain that in a second. We're going to change this 72, and I want you to watch what happens to the width and the height when we change the 72 to 300. Notice that the printed image, the way at 100%, it's going to print on a piece of paper at a little over 7 inches by 10 inches, about 7¼ inches by a little over 10. That's how big the image is going to be on the printed document if you were to place it at 100%. So if you were designing a flyer or a newsletter, certainly placing an image, a 7 by 10 image on that type of format, you would have to resize it to make it, shrink it down, make it a little less large, which is perfectly fine because going down on a print publication, resizing an image downward on a print publication is going to be better than increasing the size. So that would look really good on a piece of paper, print publication for that format. If you're talking about billboards, that's another issue. That's for another discussion at a later date. But this is how to resize the resolution of an image using make sure Resample is unchecked. If this were checked, what happens is Photoshop will increase or add pixels to this image to make it the 300 resolution. But what it does is, by adding pixels and resampling the image, it's going to make it look fuzzy. So that would be the result when you have that checked off. So if you can, make sure that that's unchecked. If the width and the height of the image are not as important as the crisp and clear quality of the image, make sure that Resample is unchecked.